Hey, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Paradigm shifters. We've been off the air for a couple weeks, but we're
It's
back.
good to see you here on the air, Lori. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you over yonder in Washington. Sophie, we were talking about what to do for tonight's show, and we came up with a pretty good idea, and that would be talking about dysfunctional families for the holidays.
The
And
funk of dysfunctional.
the funk of dysfunctional.
Mhm.
And seeing if we can elevate and evolve around this issue because it is a big one. Even though we're laughing about it, I know it's a very big issue for a lot of people.
It's very tricky, and some people have their dukes up before they even get there.
Uh-huh.
His family's got such a long history, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to always be family anyway, does it?
No, but that's pretty much around the holidays, it seems to be family is the
But I
thing.
think what's really interesting, you just made a good point, which is um, what happens this holiday season or many holiday seasons is already recorded in ourselves. I'm defensive, I'm this, I'm that, but a lot of it's coming up because it's that time, not because something happened so much. Now, the happening can be predicated by what's coming up in us, can't it? But yeah, it's hard to kind of get through these things without having reactions. And maybe therein lies the big gift, is if we can experience the reactions, we can shift our outcome to them,
Mm.
right? Because what is the goal? The goal is to get together for rebirth, rebirth, rebirth.
Hmm.
Instead, we come in as a squalling baby.
Um, so tell us a little bit more, V, about this and how we can cope with
Well, it's kind of
these
interesting
family
because
gatherings where there's just so much sometimes phoniness, animosity. We don't really like each other, and yet we get together because that's what's expected
Mhm.
at society at large and within the family. And many people have shunned it and said no more. I do know
Mhm.
I have friends like that.
Me too. And I think there's a whole reason for that is, oh no, we just are going to fight. Well, my question is there actually a consciousness we can move through the group in order, instead of following the dysfunction, we try in a different way?
Right,
Because the
but that
dysfunction is as
often
much
takes
about
more
me,
than one
you,
person.
as
That
it,
takes,
no, did
yeah,
you hear what I said? The
yes,
dysfunction is as much about you as it is about whoever's in there.
right.
And
But
if
we
we can
get,
get that clear, you know,
well, it takes more than one person
I know.
to get on the healing train, right? To get on the love train. So so that we can go in there full of giving it our best shot with full of
Well,
love
and
and
that being said, Lori, it takes one person at a time to make the difference, right?
yeah. I I'm sure many people would agree it's we can try our hardest and sometimes it's not it's not enough to change it, that it does take at least two. And not everybody's on that same wavelength to
Oh,
he
that's true.
to heal
Well, we
it.
know that.
Yeah. I do want to honor that because, a lot of people sometimes feel bad that they should have it all together by now and their situation with their families should be much more on even keel. And I can truly say I think for a lot of people that's people a lot of people
Mhm.
just tolerate to get through. So do we want to ask Mira Chris some tips on how to get through the holiday season?
So let's call in Mira Chris. Um, yeah, okay. Just call in the beings that want to speak. We are here. We are most happy to be here. Not just happy, but we find gratitude about the subjects that you're bringing up. People are all here to advance within themselves, are they not? That there's a great deal that can be done to encourage the advancements in other people, to consciously recognize, to consciously promote. And that really has to happen before you have your zealous one person at a time making the big difference. You know, there has to be a concerted effort to grow into a new level of self. And
Hmm.
it's very, very important because uh, one moment, I'm watching something. It's very, very important
Hmm.
because it is terrifying to many individuals to try to move into a different way of behaving in this group. Many of the triggers are coming from the subconscious. You understand that.
Hmm.
And not because this person's bad or this person's bad. It's that the subconscious has been programmed to defend, to be afraid, you see? And we're saying to you, sometimes sitting there and exacting from yourself the awareness of what your subconscious is gearing up to do and making it different, that's possible. That's very possible. And as you said, it's not up to one person, but in a way it is, you see? There's a one person at a time drops inside and goes, okay, I always get with whatever, I always get really defensive. Or with my mother and my sister, I get very angry, or so on and so forth. Those are things we can do something about, but we have to be conscious of them in the moment.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the issues come up before you even know they've hit you. They come up from a deep place. Mm, and oh, one more thing is many times the expectations of others around you are about you won't let it happen. You could say, well, that isn't true about me. But if people feel that that's true, if people suspect you for this and that and blame you for this and that, you're still better to take the higher level, the higher road, and back yourself down and let them have that expectation and then show them that it's different. You see, you can't defend it. You have to, it's not, this is not an easy thing. You also need to ask yourselves, why are you gathering with the family if it is so difficult?
Yeah, and that led me to right before you said that, Mary Chris, I was thinking it's important we take care of ourselves and set our limits. So if we're going to see family, do it for 4 hours. Don't do it for 2 days. No,
Right.
seriously, you have to learn what are your limits, how to give your very best self for what period of time, what is logical, reasonable, and then cut yourself loose. Take care of yourself.
Well, if that works for you, that'd be great. That's like a pre-plan, is what you're saying.
Well, because I travel so far to see family, I have to put that in place.
Mhm.
So I know now going to visit for X amount of days is going to be very difficult. I wouldn't put myself in a situation to be there for weeks on end if I could help it.
No.
Unless I was called into service for some reason. That's a different experience.
We'd like to make a different suggestion, which is to call forth that higher light that you have access to, and
Hmm.
each of them has access to. Don't ever enter without calling in that higher light.
Mm,
And
very
it's
good.
something people gloss over that, but the reality is it can smooth troubled waters very fast, in fact.
Mm,
Because deep, I'm looking now at a family, and deep down in the most, we would call the most obstreperous person in this family, there is an ache in her and a desire that it could all be different.
hmm.
And so knowing that a desire is a little like a fire, in that you fan its flames and it can build in a different way, right?
Mm, mm-hmm.
Saying that, sometimes bringing in the higher light, taking a few moments of breath, and breathing really helps a lot, and allowing any of the tumults to move through we would say your belly area, your solar plexus, your heart. Just do that first, and then step forward into a discussion or whatever it is you're having, a piece
Mm-hmm.
of chicken, something like that. But we're saying if people would slow down and pay attention, because the truth of it is, and you know this, Lori, that you don't want to live your life in the same patterning that you had before.
No.
You're not interested in staying the same, are you?
No, and that is one of those amazingly tricky things. I'm going to say tricky with the family because there are trigger dynamics that happen sometimes that are
That's a good word,
on
trigger. Hmm.
unconscious even. You walk into the room, you can feel the weight, the heaviness,
Hmm.
and you're already being triggered, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I love what you said, Mary Chris, about pulling the light down and through before you even enter the room.
And do it with two things, with humor, but also with a really intense seriousness about it. I'm bringing that light in. Things aren't going to stay the same.
Hmm.
Some of these situations aren't necessarily going to turn out easy, but some of them will. Some of them will absolutely change the parameters of what the dissensions are. You understand that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's not up to you to do that, because that's what you have, a lot of that. And so do many, many of our followers here have the responsibility factor. If I
Hmm.
don't do this, it'll be this way, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to back up and not do that. Just keep clearing yourself. Just clear yourself. Just clear yourself.
So,
Because it's truthful that I'm circling around your group, Lori, that your mother wants it to be nice. She wants people to feel okay, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And that's a gift you can give her
yeah,
by sorting out some
absolutely.
of these things. Whereas you have several people, and I won't talk about your family in
Yeah.
particular, but I see in some families, there's several people that are not okay. They're mentally unbalanced, they're extremely neurotic or whatever. Don't be so excited about fixing them because you've tried that before.
Hmm.
But to clear and clear what the agitation is that's emanating from people. That's the biggest thing. Just clear it so it doesn't touch you, and then carry on with your day. You'll
Hmm.
find you can actually soften the intrigue quite considerably.
Mm.
Intrigue is that which wants to pull you into some drama, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm. And there are some surprises this year, because what you also understand is that the society itself, the society as a whole, is going through some very, very bizarre, unprecedented changes.
Hmm.
And in that, you can laugh and say, oh, golly, it's going to be really hard to figure out what's what. But on the other hand, if you're counting on unprecedented changes, you
Hmm.
can breathe and pretend you're on a skateboard or something and go through it differently than you expect,
Hmm.
because the society is literally turbulent, is
Hmm.
changing. And we wanted to mention how the frequencies, the base frequencies in the social structure are changing. They're moving up.
Right.
And that doesn't mean it's easier for everyone, but it means that if you pay attention and you start to ride and surf the way
Hmm.
the waves are going, you'll do much better. And you'll get also, Lori, you have a good sense of humor, and you'll have much more alacrity or much more humor as you go through it.
Hmm.
Because you've noticed politically that you can't figure out who's doing what anymore.
No.
It's so changeable. Well, that's
Eh,
true in your family too.
yes. And with families, what we also are dealing with when we walk into that room is they are, it's a karmic connection.
Hmm.
past. So we're not only dealing with the here and now and what kind of dysfunction there may be, but we are dealing with something so far in the back, so far in the past, and it could be multiple lifetimes that we keep coming here to work out with them. So, so I just,
And
yeah,
what do you want to do with that?
I think if we acknowledge it, there's power in the acknowledgement that it's not
Mhm.
just walking into the room and dealing with the here and now. We are, there is, we are here to
We
deal
never
with,
would suggest the here and now. It is a very unreliable,
yeah.
uh, full of arrows, bows and arrows. You know that.
Hmm. But Mayor Chris, like, when we come back here, we're dealing with families over and over and over, sometimes multiple lifetimes for some people, trying to work things out, changing positions, doing things from a different construct. And so to me, it's quite complex and quite heroic. If
Quite heroic.
yes, if we can rise up and start to unravel the karma, right? So,
Well, what we would make a small suggestion and say the rising up is more available. As we said, there's a great deal of motion
hmm
going on in the energies of your society right now,
hmm
and the frequencies are rising. And just in that alone, your karmic reactions can be shifted. They can be different. They can be lighter, they can be freer, they can be heavier, they can be darker, but
hmm
it's not like you'll know exactly how they're going to be. And we're suggesting that because you have a great deal of consciousness, you let yourself fall into a space of allowing yourself to be lifted where you least expect.
hmm
Some of that is actually going to go on. It doesn't have to be what you think is going to happen. It's more like what you feel, what you're surfing, what it is you feel is going to happen. And the other thing is that you've got some people who are older who might be considering their own passing. And there's another kind of determination with that. And
hmm
determination can often predicate the way people are working with one another. You know, that determination is a kind of a hard, solid uh, energy, is it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
So we're saying one of the gifts we'd like to suggest is that you can rise, which you already mentioned that. You can rise up and be just a little lighter about the way the karma presents itself amongst certain people.
hmm
And you'll feel like you won something.
hmm
See?
hmm
It's it's moving with not memory, which some of our historical work is moving with memory. Some of it is literally the changing and transformation of the vibrational centers and beginnings of our solar system, really, and even beyond that. You're evolving as a person.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Mayor Chris. I mean, that's really, I hope we've been able to give some hope and shed some light and some
Well, you're also pretty funny at
practical
times, Lori.
tools.
Use your humor.
Yeah, practical tools, humor for our audience to get through this time. And oh, the church bells are ringing.
And here's the other thing is we tease you here and say check your expectations at the door
Yeah,
because the expectations are often the decree of what people are going to go through.
that's a very good point. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Chris.
And that isn't easy. That's not easy, but we're trying to give you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.